好。
All right. So warm welcome to our press conference. We have 3 speakers today. Sitting in the middle is Mr. Lui Kam-ho, Assistant Commissioner of Police Operations. And to his left is Mr. Kwok Ha-chun, Assistant Commissioner of Police Special Duty Support, and also Mr. Liu Ka-kei, Senior Superintendent of Operations, Hong Kong Island. The 3 gentlemen will be briefing us on President Xi Jinping's attendance at the 25th anniversary and also the security arrangement and traffic arrangement. I hand you over to Mr. Lui. Friends of the media, the President, Mr. Xi Jinping, will be attending the 25th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong SAR and the celebratory event and the 6th-term SARG's inauguration ceremony. The police will be carrying out a whole series of security arrangements. During the President's stay for the celebratory events, the police do have the duty to carry out security measures to ensure the President's personal safety, and will have to make sure that the celebratory events will take place in an orderly, secure manner. During the President's Day for the celebratory events, we have the security measures that include the bodyguard service and also the security of the celebration venues and the escort of the motorcade. The important part is in places where the President stays, visits, or travels past, we will be designating core security zone, and the periphery area will be designated as security zone. Therefore, at places where the President's motorcade goes past, like the flyovers and footbridges, there will be temporary closure, and the police will implement control measures for vehicles and pedestrians. During the President's Day, the Admiralty and Wan Chai North area will be affected to a greater extent because on the 30th of June and the 1st of July, the north of the Convention Avenue, the Convention Center Peninsula will be closed, and all vehicles going in and out and people going in and out of the area will be subject to security checks. And the Convention Center station will also be temporarily closed. The police believe that the traffic in Wan Chai North will be exceedingly congested, so I urge the motorists to avoid driving into these areas unless absolutely necessary. If motorists have to drive into these areas, please exercise forbearance and comply with police officers' instructions. Through the Police Community Relations Unit, the police will be explaining the special arrangements to the organizations and traders regarding the arrangement for the President's visit. I'd like to say a little bit about the restricted flying zone. As usual, the government flying service and the police will be carrying out frequent flying missions during the period the security measures are carried out. So the Civil Aviation Department will be designating temporary flight restriction area on both sides of the Victoria Harbour, restricting the flight of ordinary aircraft and flying devices. As to SUA, small unmanned aircraft. After careful risk assessment, the police will be invoking the new order, that is Cap 448G, the Small Unmanned Aircraft Order, Section 19, during the stay of the President for the celebratory events. Hong Kong will be designated as the flight restriction area for small unmanned aircraft. The members of the public should pay particular attention to the SUA website of the CAD for the restriction information. The police have always respect a peaceful assembly right. As of today, we have not received any application for public meetings. However, outside the security zone, we will be designated public order event area. Any public order events can take place within these areas. The members of the public can also submit petitions inside the petition zone. The police would like to urge participants in the public order events should, other than complying with the police instructions, also have to comply with the anti-pandemic measures to avoid breaking the law. As to media reporting, the police will, in accordance with the security requirement and the site constraint, and also without compromising the police operations, will try their best to render assistance to the media and facilitate media reporting. The police do appreciate that all these security measures, the traffic arrangement and the temporary flight restriction zone, will, to a certain extent, cause inconvenience to the members of the public. However, the police have assessed all the different factors and risks to make sure that we will strike a proper balance to make sure that the security measures can be carried out in an orderly and safe manner. I hope that the members of the public will understand and support these. The police would like to reiterate that we will not tolerate any violent or unlawful behaviors. Neither will we tolerate any security measures being disrupted or sabotaged. If we find that there are any behaviors that will endanger life and limbs or properties or undermine public safety and order, we will certainly resolutely take enforcement action. As to traffic diversion and road closures, Senior Superintendent Operations Hong Kong Island, Mr. Liao Ka-Kei, will be explaining the details. And thereafter, Mr. Kwok Ka-Chun, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Special Duty, will be explaining the media coverage arrangement in details.
Now I will recap in English. The President of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, will attend a number of official and celebration events relating to the 25th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong SAR. He will also officiate the inauguration ceremony of the sixth-term government of the Hong Kong SAR. Police would implement a series of security measures when our President visits Hong Kong. During the event, police is duty-bound to ensure the personal safety and security of our President, and to ensure the official events that he will attend and other related functions are conducted in a safe, orderly, and secure manner. To achieve this, police needs to put in place a series of security measures, such as providing motorcade escorts and personal protection to our presidents, ensuring the venue security of the official and celebration events that he will attend, and setting up core security zones at the venues where our president stays, visits, and passes by, and the security zones outside the venues. Road closures, temporary traffic and pedestrian diversions will be put in place, including temporary closure of footbridges and flyovers during the passage of our President's motorcade. Admiralty and Wan Chai North area will be affected the most during the visit. Between 30th of June and 1st of July, Hong Kong Exhibition and Convention Center Peninsula to the north of Convention Avenue will be closed. All guests and vehicles entering the area will be subject to security screening. The Exhibition Center MTR station will be temporarily closed. It is believed traffic congestion is very likely in Wan Chai North area. I would like to appeal to motorists not to drive to these areas. If you really need to do so, please be patient and comply with the direction of our officers at scene. Police community relations officers of the affected districts will provide advice to local and neighborhood groups on the impact of the arrangements. I would also like to talk about the restricted flying zones arrangements. As usual, there will be frequent flying tasks deployed by the government flying service and police throughout the security operation. Civil Aviation Department will therefore designate temporary restricted flying zones in the vicinity of Victoria Harbour and several designated areas. Aircraft and flying objects will be restricted from entering the area. As for small unmanned aircraft, after a careful review of the risk assessment, the entire area in Hong Kong will be temporarily designated as a small unmanned aircraft's restricted flying zone by virtue of the authority under the new regulation, Section 19 of the Small Unmanned Aircraft Order, Chapter 448G, during the visit of our President. Members of the public, please pay close attention to the electronic portal of the Civil Aviation Department's website for further details of the restricted flying zones. Police fully respects the people's rights to public meetings and processions. As of today, police had not yet received any notification from any organization of the intention to hold public events during the period of our President's visits. However, we will reserve a designated public activities area outside the security zone and facilitate members of the public to hold public meetings. Members of the public can also present petition letter to the forward petition area. We appeal to people who would take part in public events to comply with the instructions of our officers at scene and to comply with the latest anti-epidemic and social distancing requirements in accordance with the relevant regulations. Police will consider a number of factors such as geographical limitations and security measures when formulating press arrangements. As long as police operation is not undermined, we, as usual, will do our best to offer assistance as to facilitate the work of media. Police is fully aware that the security measures, traffic arrangement, and temporary restricted flying zone may cause a certain degree of inconvenience to the community. However, such arrangements were implemented after assessing different risk factors, and we are duty-bound to ensure that the security operation will be conducted in a safe and orderly manner. I would like to appeal to all members of the community for their understanding and support. To conclude, I would like to repeat that police will not tolerate any acts of violence or public disorder, and will not tolerate anything that may interfere and undermine the security operation. In any event that any person behaves in a manner that threatens life or property and undermines public order or endangers public safety, we will take resolute actions. Senior Superintendent Mr. Stephen Liu of Operations Hong Kong Island Region will now cover the detailed arrangement of traffic diversion and road closure. Later, Assistant Commissioner of Police Special Duty Mr. Kenneth Kwok will give further details of the press arrangement. Thank you.
唔該晒，唔該晒，呂 Sir。
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Good afternoon. I will now brief you on the special traffic arrangements for Hong Kong Island during the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the handover. For security reasons, the police will implement control measures and may close the vehicular carriageway and pedestrian footbridges which the motorcade passes. For the specific arrangements, please take a look at the map at my back. For Wan Chai North, there will be 2 stages of road closures. Stage 1 will begin from the 29th of June at 2 p.m., namely tonight at 2 p.m. All roads, including Expo Drive Central, Convention Avenue, Fleming Road, part of Fleming Road northbound will be closed. Also, the Central Wan Chai bypass heading for Wan Chai North, Long Wall Road eastbound, and towards the Central Wan Chai bypass will also be closed. Long Wall Road, a section of Long Wall Road will also be closed. Also closer to Central District, Long Hub Road, Long King Street, Yew Sing Street, Harcourt Road, eastbound towards the Performing Arts Avenue will also be closed. These are the red section on the road. Other than that, the green sections on the map will also be intermittently closed, and they include, Harbour Road, section of Harbour Road, Fenwick Pier Road, and also Fenwick Street. Stage 2 of the special traffic arrangement will begin from 1 a.m. on the 30th of June, and they will include the yellow part in the map. During the time when the convention station is being closed, the East Rail will continue its operation, except the train will not stop at the station. Passengers will not be able to board or alight from this station, and they have to head straight to Admiralty. For these special traffic arrangements, I understand that it will cause some inconvenience to the public. First of all, during the time of closure, people who need to go to the Convention Exhibition Peninsula by car, they will need to be subject to restrictions and security checks. Those people going in and out of the office of the Convention and Exhibition Office Tower will also have to go through security checks. There will also be impact on the motorists. Now, there are 3 blue routes in the map. First of all, on the right-hand side, westbound traffic from the west to the Convention Road, they have to go to the Convention Station, a named road, and then go to the Fleming Road southbound section, and then further lower down from Fleming Road, when the motorists go to the Harbour Road, they have to turn right. And from Low Wall Road eastbound traffic, they must turn right to Tim Ma Road southbound. For police and the traffic department will deploy more traffic directions and signage so that we will provide more messages and directions for motorists. And depending on the situation, we may also implement further measures. So motorists will need to be particularly careful and be patient and follow the instructions of police officers at the scene in order to avoid accidents.
As to the public transport arrangement, the public transport interchange at the convention center station, and that's the area in the middle. There are 18 bus routes that will be affected, of which 11 routes will see the terminus move to the Inner Coastal Road, Johnson Road, and Hennessy Road areas. For the remaining bus routes, the termini will be moved to Admiralty Bus Station, Tin Hau, or will be converted into circular routes. There are 22 bus routes that will be diverted away from Wan Chai North area. The public transport operators will also put up notices to make the passengers aware of these arrangements, and the passengers should also pay particular attention to the latest information published by the operators. And the motorists can also pay attention to the Transport Department's notices. And from the 28th of June, that's tonight, at 8 or 10 p.m. At the parking meters, the lay-bys and the car parks, they will be suspended. They include Long War Road, Long Way Road westbound, Harbour Road, Convention Center Station, Unnamed Road, Long Hub Road northbound, Tim Wah Road northbound, and Tim May Road northbound, and Hong Heng Road eastbound. Cars parked there will have to be moved away tonight, otherwise they will be towed away without any warning. As you can see from these special traffic arrangements in Wan Chai North, we believe that the traffic in central LMOG, Wan Chai, and Causeway Bay will also be very busy, and members of the public should use public transport as far as possible. If they have to drive, they have to exercise forbearance and comply with the police directions and pay attention to the latest traffic news. We understand this will cause inconvenience to the public, particularly in Wan Chai North. People may have to do a bit more walking, they have to wait a bit longer, and this is the President's attendance at the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong SAR since 5 years ago, and I hope that the public would be more patient and understanding, and with public cooperation, the police will make sure that the inconvenience will be minimized and make sure that events will take place in an orderly manner. Now, regarding the media reporting, the President is expected to attend the 25th anniversary of the Hong Kong SAR and also the inauguration ceremony of the sixth-term SAR government. The police have the obligation to take security measures to ensure the President's personal safety, and that the events will take place in a safe, orderly, and secure manner. The police are aware that the police or the public are concerned about the President's attendance at celebratory events, and the media have to cover the event. Therefore, the police will, having regard to the factors like risk assessment, security requirement, and site constraint, and without compromising police operation, will try to facilitate media reporting. As to the media coverage of the celebratory events, the ISD and the relevant department will be coordinating the arrangement and will officially publish clips and information. As to the area outside the venue, the police will designate media area in the security zone to facilitate reporting outside the venue by the media, in order to ensure public safety and public order and the safety of the attendees. We'll have to verify the identity of the people in the press area, and belongings will have to be security checked. The force search unit will be responsible for that, and the media liaison guard will also give assistance. And I hope that you will comply with the police instructions. The police have deployed more than 100 FMLC officers to render assistance to the media. The PPRB newsroom will be in operation 24 hours to take media inquiry. Where necessary, we will be disseminating latest information through our social media platforms. The police reiterate that Hong Kong is a free society. Freedom of speech and press freedom are protected by the Basic Law and the Bill of Rights. We respect the media work of the media organization and media practitioners, and we will render assistance as far as possible. Thank you. Now it's time for questions. Please raise your hand and wait for the mic, and please identify the organization you represent. Please confine yourselves to 3 questions. The front row, the one in orange, please. TVB, 3 questions, if I may. First, are the police certain that President Xi will be attending the event? And if the President were to appear via video link, will there be the same arrangement? How do you assess the risk level in Hong Kong at the moment? Thanks very much for your question. The security measures are on the basis of the fact that the President will be in Hong Kong to attend the 25th anniversary and also the inauguration ceremony. We maintain close liaison with the relevant units. Should there be any updates, we will make the suitable adjustment. Our priority is to make sure that the public inconvenience will be minimized. As to how we assess the risk level at the moment, all along the police have a sophisticated risk assessment mechanism. We do exchange intelligence with our counterparts in the mainland and overseas and assess the situation. As of now, we don't have any intelligence to indicate that Hong Kong is subject to terrorist attacks. So at the moment, the risk level is moderate. As to the President's attendance at the 25th anniversary and the inauguration ceremony, we've also conducted a risk assessment, which is updated on a regular basis. Now, because of the geopolitical situation, the President's attendance at Hong Kong's events will be the focus of the international arena. You're probably aware that local terrorism has risen in Hong Kong over the past 2 years. Here in Hong Kong, we have detected cases related to local terrorism. We have uncovered the firearms and they are similar to the arms used by terrorist organizations elsewhere. So we are particularly concerned about the risk of or the threat of terrorist attack in this particular event.
Next question, second row, the first lady. Good afternoon. I'm from Hong Kong 01. The police said that they have not received any applications for protests, and this year we don't have the July 1st rally because of the national security law which has been implemented, and you said just now that the risk level was moderate. For the state chairman, visiting Hong Kong, is the risk, within control? And also, how many police officers will you be mobilizing and put on standby for this event? And for the area which will be closed, do you have to close off Victoria Park? And how large is the security area for people passing by the area? Will they inadvertently be going into the restricted area? Thank you for those questions. You talk about application for staging protests. First of all, the police all along respect the public's freedom of speech, assembly, and protest. And we have always adopted appropriate measures to protect such rights. However, the state chairman, the state president visiting Hong Kong, participating in the celebration activities, the police has the duty to ensure his personal safety and ensure that the activities that he participated in will be conducted safely and in an orderly manner. And because of that, while the president, during the stay of the president and also the areas which his motorcade passes, we will set up a core security area and a security area. If members of the public during those public events, like I said, in the vicinity of the security area, we will set up a public activity zone. We have, struck a balance. On the one hand, we have to ensure the personal safety of the president while he is visiting Hong Kong, and that the ceremony will be conducted in an orderly manner, while at the same time safeguarding the right of the public to stage, protests. And that's why we've set up a public activity zone, and we've deployed appropriate number of police officers, including police, public relations officers at the scene. You asked about how large is the core security area. I think this core security area and the security areas, I think they will have to be set up based on risk assessment. In the risk assessment, we will consider the location which the president will attend, the activity, the timing, the geographical conditions, and also should there be an attack, what is going to be the mode of attack. So we will consider a basket of all the factors in making the risk assessment before setting up the area for the core security area and the security areas. For those two areas, they will not remain unchanged. As the president itinerary changes, they will be adjusted accordingly. And depending on the itinerary of the president and changes in the arrangements of the visit, they will be adjusted accordingly. And that is why the core security area and the security area are temporary measures. Normally, members of the public can freely go into the security area, but for the core security area, they will need to go through, a security check before they can enter the area. Second row.
At the moment, there are no words that whether President Xi Jinping will actually come to Hong Kong. Will there be any difference to police's security plan if the president at the end decided not to visit Hong Kong? Secondly, you also mentioned that the entire Hong Kong will be listed as a no-fly zone for drones. Is the coverage proportionate to the police security need? And finally, the League of Social Democrats said they are not going to hold any protests on July the 1st after the National Security Police invited them for a talk. Did the police in any way discourage any group to organize protest on July 1st? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Yes, we are planning our security operation and implementing the series of security measures we are actually doing that in the preparation of our presidents physically visiting Hong Kong to attend the official events and the inauguration of the sixth-term government ceremony. And I have also said before, we are actually maintaining close contact with our counterparts, okay, making sure the latest updates. And if there is any latest changes in our president's visits program, we will correspondingly adjust our security measures and deployment in order to reduce or to minimize the inconvenience caused to members of public. That is also our important concern. Regarding the question of restricted flying zone for the drone, for the unmanned aircraft, first of all, after the implementation of the new legislation, the Chapter 448G, okay, in the new legislation, Section 19, actually the law confer the power to the Commissioner of Police to designate certain area of Hong Kong as restricted flying zone if the purpose of which is connected to the performance of our police duties in accordance with the Police Force Ordinance, Section 10. And we decide to use the power to designate the whole area of Hong Kong as restricted flying zone is based on risk assessment. The risk assessment actually include, we make reference to the overseas and the mainland where the president's state leader will participate in the program and the reference of the size of the restricted flying zones for the drones. That's one. And we also make reference to the overseas drones attack to the state leaders' visit program as well as to the critical infrastructure. We also make reference to the technology advancement of the drones nowadays. And also we make reference to our latest intelligence. Because the activities or the itinerary of our president's program, we need to keep it confidential. And therefore, in order to balance the rights of the people to use drones and our responsibility to ensure the personal safety of our president during his stay in Hong Kong, the decision is, we consider is a well balance of the two needs, right? Okay, for your third question, okay, protests of the, okay, again, right, I've stated that, right, we fully respect the rights of people, the freedom of expression, the freedom of staging protests, demonstration, public meetings, etc. And we also taken reasonable measures to ensure these rights are protected. Also in the security operation, I mentioned before, we also introduced designated public activities area just outside our security zone. The measure, again, is a balance of the people's rights to stage public meetings, processions, and our responsibility to make sure the personal safety of our presidents. Thank you.
OK，下一題，前面第一行格仔3個。
Next question, the gentleman in a check shirt. Good afternoon, I'm from Ming Pao. First of all, the League of Social Democrats said that the National Security Branch have been in touch with them. What did they talk about? Did the police meet with any other organizations? If there should be an organization organizing public rallies in the public activity area, how will be a reaction? The National Security Unit has arrested several people, and you have not yet have any clues regarding the, shooting event in Central. The risk has gone up. Do you have intelligence that President Xi's visit in Hong Kong now will face a bigger risk than his earlier visit. And also there is rumor that President Xi will visit the third runway and the Science and Technology Park. Will the police implement security measures there? You say that if people should carry umbrellas or slogans, would they be allowed to enter the venues where the activities or the celebration activities take place?
Thank you for your question. As to the League of Social Democrats, I said repeatedly a moment ago that the police have all along respected people's right to procession and rallies and freedom of speech. In our operations, we do designate measures to safeguard the public's right to express themselves and also the public right to rallies and assembly. Now, this is a security measure. Now, with the president visiting Hong Kong, we have the duty to ensure his personal safety. We are duty-bound to make sure that all the celebratory events attended by the president will be taking place in an orderly and safe manner. We have to strike a balance, and therefore we designate the public activity area in suitable places to allow the public to express their views, while at the same time the police will be able to carry out our work and discharge our duty to make sure that the president's personal safety will be ensured. As to the shooting in Central, it is true that yesterday we held a press conference explaining the progress and also the people arrested. Now, it's a matter of risk assessment. As I said earlier, when we conduct the risk assessment, we do have regard to a whole basket of factors. We haven't found the firearms used in the Central shooting. This is one of the considerations. As I said, at the present moment, we do not have any specific intelligence that Hong Kong will be subject to terrorist attack, so the risk level remains moderate. But with the president's visit to Hong Kong, now we have seen the rising local terrorism. We've found the dynamites and also the firearms in Hong Kong. All these are of concern to us. That's the reason why we say that with the president's visit to Hong Kong, we are very concerned about the threat of terrorist attack. The third runway, yes, 3RS. As regards the president's itinerary and activities, as I said, we are duty-bound to keep this confidential, because this will ensure that the security measures will be able to ensure the president's personal safety. We have to make sure that the events that he attends will be taking place in a secure and safe manner, so we cannot disclose the details. The lady in stripes top. RTHK. A moment ago, you mentioned the security zone, and the members of the public can move in and out of the security area. If I may follow up on the question put earlier, now people may be clad in black and they may wear the yellow face mask. Will you be taking an action? Will you be stopping them for inquiry? Now, there are some national and regional flags that are vandalized recently, and in many places, the national and regional flags will be on display. Would there be any difficulties in gathering evidence in this regard? Now, you mentioned the security area. As I said earlier, the security area and the core security area, they are not static. It depends on the itinerary of the president in our designation of these areas. As I said, the members of the public can move in and out of the security area, and we may need to control the vehicular and pedestrian traffic in these areas. We do have police officers telling the public that there will be temporary restrictions on vehicle and pedestrian traffic, and I hope that the public would cooperate with us. Now, you mentioned the outfits. Now, you put a question like this, it would be hard for me to give you a blanket reply. If you are dressed in a particular outfit in the security zone, we will have regard to the security zone. Why is it that people will be dressed in outfits that are different from other people? Are there any particular motives? The police officer certainly will find out about the motives. Is he passing through, or is he trying to stage any protest? Now, if it is in the latter, our officers will be assisting him and perhaps leads him to the public or the event area. You mentioned the vandalism of the national and regional flags. The members of the public do anticipate, do welcome the president's visit to Hong Kong to attend our 25th anniversary. We do welcome him with eager anticipation. So we do have a lot of national and regional flags being on display, but there are some people who vandalized these flags. Now, we have to condemn these kind of acts, and we will not tolerate these kind of acts. We are proactively investigating these cases. And I do hope that there will be good news for you soon enough and bring these people to justice. Next, please. A lady in white on the second row, please. Cable TV. A couple of questions, if I may. About these restriction measures, how soon are they going to be lifted? Now, you mentioned the closure of the convention center station and the bus interchange. And also, why do you have to ban the SUA, the small unmanned aircraft? Now, you have the media coverage area. Will there be any media coverage inside the venue, like the Convention Exhibition Center? Will the media be allowed in? There are a couple of questions there about the road closure on Hong Kong Island. I defer to Mr. Liao. You mentioned the media reporting area. I defer to Mr. Kwok. Let me take your question about the restriction on the small unmanned aircraft in Hong Kong, the SUA. Now, we designate Hong Kong as the restricted flying zone for SUV during the President's visit to Hong Kong. We're acting in accordance with the law. We are invoking the SUV order, Section 19. This empowers the Commissioner to implement Section 10 of the Police Force Ordinance. And where necessary, we can designate certain area in Hong Kong as the restricted flying zone for the SUA. We designate Hong Kong as the restricted flying area for SUA, having regard to very careful risk assessment. We did have regard to the President's visit to places in the mainland and elsewhere, and the designation of the restricted flying zone for SUAs. We also have regard to the attack on state president or key infrastructure using the SUAs. in other parts of the world. We also have regard to the development of SUAs in recent years, the loading, the flight range, and so on. We also have regard to the location or the geographical situation of places visited by the president. We are duty bound to keep all these itinerary and the location confidential, but we have to balance the right to use SUA and also our duty to make sure that during the president's visit, his personal safety will be ensured and the events will be taking place in an orderly manner. We take this decision on the basis of this, and this represents the best decision.
Mr. Kwok will now talk about the arrangement for media coverage. Regarding the arrangements for media coverage, the government attaches a lot of importance to press freedom. We understand that the media and reporters will need to cover the events. At the beginning, I already told you that the media coverage arrangement within the venue, that will be the responsibility of the GIS and the relevant departments. Earlier on, they've already extended invitations to media organizations to invite them to cover the events. In doing that, they have taken various factors into consideration. Other than allowing the media to cover the events, there are also some official media arrangements, and also official footage will also be released. The police will also work with the GIS and the relevant departments and come up with the proper deployment so to ensure that the media will be able to cover the events. You ask about the closure arrangements. In our operations, we have sought to strike a balance. On the one hand, we want to ensure safety for our security operations. We also would need to bear in mind whether we are causing inconvenience to the public. So the arrangement will certainly result in people having to wait longer or to walk for a longer distance. We will closely monitor the situation, and where it is feasible, we will relax those closure arrangements. I also like to remind the public to pay attention to the latest information and announcement released by the police. The gentleman in blue shirt on the front row.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
For doing this. My name is Atsushi Okudera from Asahi Shimbun, Japanese newspaper. First of all, about the quarantine, the police official is going to have a quarantine before President Xi Jinping is coming, or if so, how many days and how many people is going to have a quarantine? The second of all, as you mentioned, the exact itinerary is not going to be disclosed because of the security of President Xi Jinping. But just asking, airport or the highway or the railway station is also it's going to be the target for the security arrangement. If so, going to close this kind of facility in coming few days. Thank you so much.
quarantine arrangement 呢個都係由翻相關部門 Department of Health 去決定。
Okay, thank you for your question. Okay, regarding the quarantine measure, okay, yes, right. It is the requirement of the relevant authority that, right, for those attending as guests, right, to the 25th anniversary ceremony or the inauguration of the sixth-term government of the Hong Kong SAR ceremony. For those guests, including the top government officials, they are required to undergo quarantine arrangement. I think you have read from the newspaper, not just staying in the hotel. They also need to conduct a variety of different measures, including the PCR tests, etc. Okay, that is actually all in the requirements as stipulated by the authority. Okay, to those right, guests, including top government officials, even the government working staff, right, for those needs to enter the venues, right, need to undergo certain quarantine arrangement or measures.
Including police officers, including security personnel, including
Yes.
private security.
As I said, right, the quarantine requirement or the measures, right, actually, is the relevant authority requirement, right, of all the guests, right, government officials attending as guests, and also government staff, right, working inside the venue, right, and they are required to undergo the quarantine arrangement. And yeah, regarding your question of our president's itinerary. As I said before, for the security arrangement, one of the characteristics right here is we will set up core security zone and security zone. The core security zone and the security zone is not fixed, okay, as such, right? It's very in accordance with the itinerary and the activities of our president's visit or stays or his motorcade passes by, then certain areas will be treated or designated as core security zone and security zone temporarily. And during our president's, such as passers-by or the venue he visits, etc., then we will set up the temporary core security zone and security zone. And during that period of time, we will have measures in place, right, to regulate traffic, to regulate pedestrian, and we will have police officers at scene to give clear instruction to members of public to comply with the temporary requirements. Thank you.
好，最後兩條問題啦。
Last two questions. Third row, the gentleman in a white shirt. Now TV. Regarding the road closure, compared with the last visit the president came to Hong Kong, the area of closure is larger. You said that the risk of terrorist attack is moderate. Since the risk level is moderate on both occasions, why is it that the area of closure is so much larger? Earlier, there was a question that the League of Social Democrats had been invited for a chat by the National Security Bureau. Other than the League of Social Democrats, did you, had meetings with other organizations? And also regarding the president arrangements, you anticipate that the president will come to Hong Kong. Is it your arrangement that the president will stay overnight in Hong Kong, or will he be returning to Shenzhen? Regarding road closure, I will defer the question to Mr. Liu. You asked about the risk of a terrorist attack. I've already said earlier that the police in Hong Kong has a comprehensive, mechanism to conduct risk assessment for terrorist attack. Yes, it is true that at the moment we don't have any intelligence to indicate that Hong Kong will be subject to terrorist attacks. And that is why the risk of a terrorist attack in Hong Kong is moderate. But as I said earlier that regarding risk assessment for the president's visit to Hong Kong, I think we have to constantly update the assessment. And like I said, local terrorism is on the surge in Hong Kong recently. Over the past year or so, or even this year, or recently, the police has successfully cracked many syndicated, crime or cases, and we were able to actually seize ammunition, guns, or imitation guns, like explosives or materials to make explosives. I'm sure that all the members of the public would be concerned. So I would like to make an appeal here. We have to all stand together to fight terrorism. We always say within the force that if you see anything suspicious, you should make a report immediately. The public should actually stand with the police to fight against terrorism, especially local terrorism. Regarding the League of Social Democrats, I said that all along we always respect the public's right or freedom for assembly, freedom of speech, and so over the years that has not changed. So this time for the security arrangement, we have also come up with the appropriate arrangements, which is and we have struck a balance to, first of all, discharge our duty to ensure the personal safety of the president during his stay in Hong Kong, and to ensure that the venue he visit will be safe and the activities will proceed safely and in an orderly manner. So in the security area or outside of the security area, we will set up a public activity zone so that members of the public will still have the right to, express their views freely.
主席。
Indeed, in this security arrangement, we expect the president to visit Hong Kong to attend these events and designate all these security measures. As I said, we maintain communication with our counterparts. If there are any changes, we will make suitable arrangement and follow up. As I said, it is our intention to minimize the inconvenience to the members of the public. Regarding road closure, I defer to Mr. Liao. Thanks very much, Mr. Lui. In terms of the road closures, we do have a whole host of factors. Like Mr. Lui said, to an extent with these inconvenience the public, but this has to be balanced against the security measures. We do have different arrangements. This time around, the road network, the road arrangements cannot be compared with the arrangement in the past. Last question, please. Second row, the first gentleman over there, please. News. 2 questions, if I may. We don't have mass disturbances. How are you going to guard against any lone wolf attack on July 1st? Maybe there can be a terrorist attack, not so much against the president, but against other people. That the police will adopt the Chinese-style march, and there will be flag raising. What particular messages are you trying to disseminate? Beg your pardon. You mentioned the march. Mr. Kwok will address this in a moment. Now, you said Hong Kong doesn't have any large-scale disturbances. How can we guard against any lone wolf attack? I'm grateful to you for your question. I said on a number of times that we are concerned about the rising local terrorist acts. As I said over the past year, in fact, over the past couple of months, the people of Hong Kong saw what happened in Central, the shooting there, and in Wong Tai Sin, we uncovered so many explosive materials, and this is filling us with concerns. Now, all these precursor materials, all these firearms, and they are similar to the weapons used in terrorist attack in other parts of the world. This is showing that there is clear local terrorism. We cannot resolve this problem by the police single-handedly. We cannot resolve this by the government single-handedly. We need to join hands to say no to to prevent the local terrorism. I'm sure that if we can report that this can be kept under control. Mr. Kwok, about the Chinese-style march, we do have closer and closer exchanges with the mainland, and the mainland, the nation is very supportive of Hong Kong's development. We are moving on with times in terms of our marches. We have been, we had the local style marches, and on July 1st, we will be adopting the Chinese style marches. We have been undergoing training for the new recruits, for the serving officers, for the auxiliary police officers. We have undergone training in preparation for these changes. We also have the electronic materials for reference. And on July 1st, we will be implementing the Chinese-style marches, and we will be able to perform in a professional manner. And this is an indication of our patriotism, and we will be parading these to the members of the public. That's it for the press conference. Thank you all very much. Speaker not coming through.